Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. PETRONAS confirms nationwide fuel stocks are secured through the end of June 2026, extending the previous deadline set for May. The announcement comes as the national oil giant ramping up supply chain management to protect domestic stocks against the global energy crisis stemming from conflicts in West Asia. The company currently provides 50% of Malaysia's fuel requirements through PETRONAS Dagangan Berhad, with the remaining half supplied by other private operators. PETRONAS reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining a stable and reliable energy stream for the entire nation. Officials say responsible usage is critical to ensure continued accessibility for all consumers. This update follows a statement from Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim on April 1st, confirming PETRONAS is actively assisting the government in stabilizing oil and gas supplies through the mid-year period. Despite blockade by the U.S. from Iranian ports that located close to the Strait of Hormuz, several ships managed to sail according to various reports. And President Trump states the Middle East war incited by the U.S.-Israel ally ship will be over soon. More on that with Yusuf Shukri.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Yes, as you've mentioned, several reports indicated that ships have managed to bypass the blockade conducted by the U.S. within the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz. The Liberia-flagged bulk carrier Christiana crossed after unloading 74,000 tons of corn at the Iranian port of Bandar Imam Khomeini, passing Iran's Larak Island in the strait at around 1600 GMT on April 13. A second ship, the Comoros-flagged tanker Elpis, was near Lara Island at around 1100 GMT and cleared the strait at around 1600 GMT. It was loaded with 31,000 tons of methanol, having left the Iranian port of Bushehr on March 31st. A Chinese tanker, the rich Starry, also crossed the strait overnight via the Iranian-approved vetting route south of Larak Island. Now, these reports were published by MEHR News Agency, or MNA, and Maritime Data Kepler. Additionally, maritime analysts cautions that signals from ships in the region have been disrupted and manipulated, making precise tracking difficult. Now, Israel and Lebanon agreed to hold direct negotiations after productive discussions between the two sides in Washington. The announcement came after Israeli and Lebanese envoys held more than 2 hours of talks mediated by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. U.S. State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott affirmed that any agreement to cease hostilities must be reached between the two governments, brokered by the U.S. and not through any separate track. Lebanon was pulled into the region-wide Iran war on March 2nd after pro-Tehran Hezbollah attacked Israel. Since then, Israeli strikes have killed more than 2,000 people and displaced more than 1 million, despite international calls for a ceasefire, and Israeli ground forces have invaded South Lebanon. U.S. President Donald Trump says the war with Iran is, quote, very close to being over during an interview with Fox Business. He re-emphasized what he had stated yesterday, that Iran had called and wants to make a deal badly.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over. You know what? If I pulled up stakes right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild that country. And we're not finished. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal very badly.
Now, those were some of the updates today. Let's head back to the main studio with Lorenzo Isaac.
On the same note, no one is spared from Trump's diabolical temper tantrums. As Vice President J.D. Vance says, Trump is a very impatient man. A now-deleted photo posted on Trump's Truth Social depicts him as apparently Jesus Christ. That garnered massive outrage from Christians all over the world. In an interview, Trump explains that the picture was meant to depict him as a quote-unquote healer. However, the situation escalated when he doubled down amid the backlash, while also calling the Pope Leo XIV as a weak figure.
I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime and other things. So I'm not. I mean, he went public. I'm just responding to Pope Leo, and you know, his brother is a big MAGA person, and he's a great guy, Louis.
Pope Leo refused to give a response when he was asked about Trump's tirade as he sets off for Algeria for Africa tour.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe. I am called to do what the church is called to do. We're not politicians. We're not looking to make foreign policy, as he calls it, with the same perspective that he might understand it. But I do believe that the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers, is a message that the world needs to hear today.
Upon knowledge of Pope Leo's remark, Trump then hopped on Truth Social and states that the pontiff does not have any idea of what Iran really did to, quote, innocent, unarmed protesters in Iran, revealing that the Islamic Republic supposedly had killed 42,000 of them in the last 2 months. This was not backed up by any evidence or reports by mainstream nor independent media. Hence, it is imperative for Sarawakians and the international community to understand that Trump does not have the interests of Christians in mind when it comes to inciting war in various countries in the Middle East.
As the U.S. seeks to impose a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz and wrest control of this critical waterway from Iran, hundreds of ships remain stranded in the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman. While Washington insists the blockade only targets vessels traveling to or from Iranian ports, Captain Rahman Kapoor, the captain of one stranded ship, calls it illegal, arguing that blocking the entire strait violates international law. He also points out that the U.S. has repeatedly changed its position, adding to the confusion. Early on Sunday, U.S. President Donald Trump escalated tensions by threatening to block any and all ships passing through the Hormuz Strait. With only a few vessels able to pass, Captain Kapoor has called for protection and safe passage through the strait.
We are stranded here inside Persian Gulf ever since the war started from 28th of February. And ever since we are here, and there were various thoughts, various mindsets, various situations where my crew was under stress, worried, thinking about their family, thinking about their safety, security all the time. I was able to lift some good amount of provisions in the beginning of the war started. And right now we have sufficient food supplies, and I'm expecting another food supply within a couple of days. And also we are also maintaining our security levels on ship. Security watches are there. We are working, and we keep ourselves alert and vigilant all the time. We keep a good lookout for drones or missiles or unidentified small boats which are approaching close to ship. We are on regular in touch with our families. Almost every day we are talking to our families through video calls. So yes, we have good internet facility on ship, and luckily we are in touch with our families and friends. They are worried. There is nothing much they can do about it. The only thing they are praying to God for our safety and safe return to our home. And we are helpless. Even my company is helpless, and it is very, very unfortunate time for everyone. So we are kind of stuck here. So we pray to God that as long as we stay safe wherever we are, that is totally fine. But delayed repatriation to our home is basically causing concern. Yes, that is illegal and it is against international laws. So then US changed their statements and then they are saying, no, we are now blocking only the Iranian ports and Iranian vessels and all those stuff. So they keep changing the statements. That's why it gets confused every day. So we are still awaiting for the confirmed message or confirmed notification. So there is no concrete information. Before the US blockade, this entire strait was controlled by Iran itself. I think still it is controlled by Iran. They were allowing few country ships with those countries they had a certain deal. So they were allowing it. They were allowing the merchant ships to pass through, but of course not through the main channel. They had provided an alternate channel which is very close to the Iran coast. Yes, and this thing was happening for past 40 days. But ever since the Americans have announced their blockade, but they are referring to that they will not allow any ship pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So they have blocked the strait is like this. They have blocked from either side of the strait. We are waiting for company's instructions, and my company has instructed us to stay wherever you are, and we are still waiting for their instructions when to move out from here, where to move out, where to go. So nothing has been finalized.
Back to local news. A total of 692 doses of oral rabies vaccine ORV have been successfully administered within the first 2 days of the pilot project as part of efforts to extend rabies immunity in Sarawak. Food Industry, Commodity and Regional Development Minister Dato Sri Dr. Stephen Rundi Uttom says ORV is a critical alternative to injections, especially in handling stray animals.
And we want to be a champion of rabies, trying to eliminate rabies too. And these are the area where many people live their life with dogs and so on. It's very, very common. And I repeat, most importantly, try to get the early intervention to prevent death.
Rundi adds that the volume of ORV distribution will be increased if proven to be effective in reducing rabies cases, especially in high-risk areas. He also reassures that efforts in obtaining a special budget from the government is in the works in order to support the implementation of the program at a larger scale. This is due to the high dog population in 3 areas, namely Desa Wira, Batukawa and Taman Maliha, estimated at around 3,000, which necessitates a more comprehensive and continuous immunization steps.
The first 2 units of Sarawak's autonomous rapid transit system are set to arrive in Kuching in the second quarter of 2026. The hydrogen-powered vehicles, known as the Golden Trains, are now cleared for shipment after successfully passing all final performance tests in China.
Sarawak Metro CEO Mazli Mustafa recently conducted final inspections at the manufacturing facility in Yibin to verify quality compliance and readiness. Mazli says Sarawak Metro remains committed to delivering the Kuching urban transportation system safely and sustainably. Upon arrival, the vehicles will undergo re-assembly at the Kuching ART assembly facility before moving to the Rembus depot in Kota Samarahan. Final system testing is scheduled at the depot to ensure full operational readiness before pilot operations begin in the fourth quarter of 2026.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.